Hands up if you are super proud of doing everything on your own and you feel threatened when someone says, "Can I help you carry that really heavy bag?" And you're like, "No, I'm fine," as you're slowly getting a hernia from carrying the weight. Maybe you hate people planning things for you, so you step in to do everything because, well, you know better, right? Maybe you choose to not even date at this point because you're like, dating completely sucks. This is what we call hyper-independence, and believe it or not, it's actually a sign of unhealed trauma. So by the end of this video, you will know if you are acting from hyper-independence, and you will start to unravel the trauma so that you don't aggressively remain alone and push people away. I'm Danny De Silvers, a self-improvement strategist for estranged children, those that are in no contact or low contact with their family, and to help them get unstuck and start with the next steps to start healing. So let's pinpoint some signs that your hyper-independence might actually be a trauma response. Difficulty trusting others. You feel like if you want something done right, well, you've just got to do it yourself. You will notice this at your workplace, with your friendships, even in dating. Subconsciously, you will want to date someone that will not help you with the mental load, or you prefer to date an avoidant person or an anxious person who literally does everything that you say and asks no questions. Reluctance to delegate. Even when you are swamped at work, the thought of delegating tasks feels impossible. Managers will do this, partners will do this, mothers do this as well. Here's a real life example, almost. If you've seen Friday Night Dinner, you will totally get this. So Jackie wants to have this hyper independence. She wants to have a birthday party, so she throws her own surprise birthday party. Yeah, so she needs to control everything from the playlist to who's getting invited to the food that people are eating. She literally just tells her husband to just send a message to get everyone to come to the surprise birthday party, and she knows everything that's going on. And this, yeah, it seems funny to watch, but this is hyper independence as a perfect golden example. Feeling uneasy about receiving help. Let me tell you about a story about a man and his wandering tent. One day I went camping. It was crazy windy, and there was a man on his own wrestling with his tent, literally sprawled out like Spider-Man, trying to pin down both ends of his tent. So I walked over and I was like, "Hey, can I give you a hand? It looks like you're struggling." And he immediately stood up, turned around, looked at me with very aggressive eyes and said something along the lines of, "No, I don't need your help." And I was like, "Well, it kind of looks like you do. If you just grab that end, I'll now grab the diagonal corner this end, and then we'll be done in a couple of seconds and you can go straight to the pub." But instead of him saying, "Okay, that's an amazing gesture," his response was very aggressive, and he said, "No, I have to do this on my own, and if I can't do this on my own, I'm going to return the tent back to Amazon." And I was really shocked, and I thought, oh, this is coming from a place of trauma, so I kind of just let him be and just continued to watch him struggle with his tent. Nonetheless, this may sound normal because you're thinking, yeah, the dude's right, he has to put his tent up on his own in case no one's around. But the thing is, why would you only test that when you've driven 150 miles to the coast of England? Why wouldn't you try it in your back garden first? Now, when someone offers help, like I did with the guy and his tent, it doesn't comfort you. It makes you feel uneasy or feel that you are incompetent. So immediately you take offense first. I have done this, and here is a really silly example. Me and my partner can laugh at it now. So me and my partner were on a boat, we were rowing. I had no idea what I was doing. I've never done this before. I've done it on a video game, not that it counts. And he was basically saying, "You need to do this and then swap over and do it on this side." And I was like, I know what I'm doing. Had no idea what I was doing. And eventually, because I was at the front of this boat, I ended up going straight into the bank and I was eating leaves on a nearby bush. So the lesson was, I felt very like, no, this person's telling me that I'm not good enough. And I was very much adamant that I knew better than this person that has actually sailed a boat many times in his life. Excessive control over personal routines. Now, you have rigid routines and you will get stressed if they are disrupted even slightly. This is very common with those that suffer with military PTSD, and also, yes, those that have autistic traits as well. But really, we're looking for the fact that you can relate to many points, not just this one. Letting go feels too risky, too uncomfortable, too uncertain. The roots of hyper-independence. Now, often than not, it can stem from past experiences where someone felt let down or vulnerable. It's almost as if their mind says to them, never again will I depend on anyone. So see this as a way of protecting yourself from potential heartache. Despite what you think, it's not about strength, it's about fear. So if we go to the example of the man and his tent, this isn't a sign of him being strong and stoic because he needs to put this tent up on his own. That's him saying, I have a fear that I can't do this on my own, therefore I suck. So there is this fear of vulnerability. It's a fear of disappointment, a fear of repeating past pains. So actively, what we're trying to do is prevent that pain from happening by covering all bases with preconceived notions of, I must do that before someone tries to help me with it because then it means I'm a terrible person. Stoicism, yeah, it's great, but modern day Stoicism just isn't the same as what it should be. Today, it's all about clickbait titles, YouTube cash cow channels, and people are learning the pop psychology version because it sounds fun, there's quick wins, and it's almost kind of toxic and it loses its true value. Kind of like religion, that the more people that get involved with an idea, the worse it gets. Please don't come for me. And then with this divide of men going their own way and women becoming boss business babes that is reinforced, this forms even more hyper-independence. It's this mindset that we have to do everything ourselves because the other gender sucks. Jokes aside, what happens when you don't work on this hyper-independence? So while being independent is generally a positive trait, let's not dismiss it. Overdoing it is going to lead to loneliness and stress. So if you find that you're doing great in life but you're lonely and no one sticks around, yeah, this is your sign. Relationships, they thrive on give and take, and then the other person giving and taking, and without this balance, connections become strained or superficial, and eventually they just break down. Let's take Mike. He is a classic hyper-independent. He renovated his home himself, handles all of his finances, and even plans solo vacations. And he says, well, I don't need a woman, I just have my dog Tess, and that is enough for me. But deep down, Mike feels isolated because his friends have stopped inviting him to activities. They are tired of his constant refusals to accept their help or any form of involvement, and they always find it a little bit weird when they don't actually get a chance to help him. For example, they can say, Mike buddy, I've just seen you've just dropped the staff room fridge on your toe. Are you okay? And Mike's like, yeah, I'm just resting, I'm fine. Okay, this is the fun part, breaking the hyper-independence cycle. Let's talk about it, baby. It's all about baby steps, okay? You have to acknowledge the issue. Recognize that your need to control everything might stem from past trauma. You might have to journal on that, seek therapy, really get to the root cause of, is there a core memory here which has defined the fact that I feel alone and that I can't trust anyone? And when you are aware of that, you will see how it bleeds into every single crack and crevice of your life. And then we start small. We will let someone else pick a movie on movie night, or we let a friend order for you at the restaurant. It's very small because we want to set ourselves up with wins, not failures. And of course, seek support. Consider therapy or just journal to really, very important, explore the root of your behavior so that you can develop a healthier coping mechanism. So while being able to depend on yourself is valuable, remember that it's okay to lean on others too. Being truly strong means knowing when to ask for help and embracing it when it comes. It's all about having balance. So the next time you're tempted to do it all by yourself, maybe just pass the baton on and just see what happens. Be curious. You might just actually make a deeper connection, relieve some stress, and actually start healing from hidden trauma. Bingo. And that is a wrap. So please leave your comments, send me love hearts, give me thumbs up, whatever you want to do. And if you want to support the channel even further, there is a Patreon link down in the description bar below. I will see you in the next video. You've been amazing. See you soon.